Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. A lot of you may have been following the story of Osinachi and Nwachukwu. For anyone that comes across this and does not know what's about, you can check out my old videos to find out what the story is. I'm just going to briefly let you know what the story is about. So a Nigerian lady, she's actually a gospel singer in one of the what they call the mega churches in the country. So big church in the country. So from the reports from her family and friends is that her husband was not very nice to her, right? And then she became unwell. She went into hospital. According to reports, they said the husband kicked her on the chest and she became unwell, went into hospital, and they said that was the end of her, right? So previously there was news that the autopsy was out and people were leaving me comments and they wanted me to say something about the autopsy. When I looked at the news, it just basically said that the autopsy was out and nothing in the news said what the autopsy said. So I didn't make any video about it because there was nothing to say. They just said the autopsy was out and the autopsy had been sent to the Attorney General or the Attorney General or something like that. I can't remember. But they said it had been handed over to the government. And that was it. But they didn't say what was in the autopsy. So there was nothing for me to make video about, then. Even up to now, this current news, they still didn't say what the autopsy says from the news that I read anyways. So I read this news from Vanguard. So I'm going to just, like I say, if I read any news, just letting you know where I get it from. You can go there and read the whole of it. But I'm just going to bring out some points that I want to discuss in this video. So let me just show you guys what I saw on Vanguard. So this is by Ikechukwu Nnochiri of Vanguard. It says the federal government has entered a 23-count charge against Mr. Peter Nwachukwu. It goes on to say that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice alleged that the late Osinachi was forcefully ejected from her matrimonial home by her husband. And then he says, at a time, forcefully pushed his late wife out of a moving vehicle. Another one is charged for alleged committing culpable homicide under section blah, 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 blah. And then he goes on to say, then look at the next thing. He said, the penal code and punishment with death. That's what it says, right? So if he's found guilty, he is going to be deleted. You know what I mean by that? So at the end of the day, these four children that have lost their mother will also lose their father. I'm really hoping that people that stay in these kind of situations and say they want to save a marriage by fire by force, they can look at the mess. And the children, you're saying, I want to stay because of my children. Look at what is happening now to these children. And then it goes on to say, like I said, I'm skipping, I'm not reading everything. And then it says, federal government alleged that the defendant deprived the deceased of her personal liberty by restraining her movement and locking her up in the house. These are some of the allegations. Subjected her to emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse. You see that? That is actually interesting because I posted a video recently in which I was talking about people and abusing of domestic staff, and especially verbally abusive or emotionally abusive. I was shocked at the number of Nigerians, especially women, that say there is nothing wrong with it. I leave in comments and say there's nothing wrong with shouting at domestic staff. There's nothing wrong. They don't seem to say anything wrong with being verbally abusive towards domestic staff. And unfortunately, it shows what has become normal in our Nigerian society. But anyways, going back to this, they subjected her to emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse. And then goes on to say the husband also denied Osinachi access to her money for medical and household necessities, and thereby forced her into begging and borrowing. Do you know there are some people that feel like a man has the right to take his wife's money? And women also that also believe that a man has the right to withhold his wife's money. So people do not know where, it seems that a lot of our people, because some things have been done for such a long time, it has basically become accepted as normal. A woman has the right to have a bank account and keep her own money. If she's not allowed to keep her own money by herself and spend her money by herself, that is called financial abuse. It's also a word. That maybe some people don't know about that. Even a lot of people then were sharing on social media, you know, that all the money she was making from the singing and everything, career, you know, music career and everything that she had, that the money, all the money that the husband was taking, everything. In short, they said when there was the booking. So what I've come to notice is that our people, because they've done something for such a long time and got away with it, and unfortunately, because the government or the law does not really work, there's barely justice in Nigeria, and because, like I said, people have been doing particularly for a long time, they just think, okay, yeah, that's the normal thing, and that's okay because they've been doing it for a long time. Withholding somebody's money is an abuse. It is an abuse. Another thing, let me actually add it here. Part of the problem is this mentality of or is this misunderstanding or the misconceptions or even deceptions. Because some people have used this virtuous woman thing to deceive a lot of women. You know, that deception, or like I said, or misconception about what the virtuous woman was about. You know, so people now feel, unfortunately, there are people that feel like part of being a virtuous woman is surrendering everything to your husband. Surrender, when I say surrender, everything to the point of surrendering your life. Because that's what has happened to Osinachi. She has surrendered everything up the way to all the way to her life. They said that she will book a show or ministration, or whatever they want to call it, right? They will book her to come and minister somewhere, but the money goes to her husband. Like, she's the one going to the place to go and sing. The people that are booking had to pay the money to her husband. And that's what some people may call a virtuous woman. And then they said she was begging for money for medication and necessities. Then he also says that he isolated and separated her from her family by preventing her mother and siblings from visiting her matrimonial home. And then another area that I was even okay, he says they also charged him for cruelty, beating his children, recording their cry. Is if this man is not, like, I don't even know, recording their cry and playing it on his phone. Can you imagine that? This man was evil. Honestly, this man is the real definition of evil. I don't know, but some people say this man was a pastor. Because me, I don't know. Her mother said when he came to marry her daughter, he said he was a pastor. Some people said he's a pastor in Dunamis, which I don't think has been confirmed, if he was just a church member or if he was a pastor in Dunamis. So it wasn't just his wife, even his children. Do you know how evil someone has to be to not just that he was cruel to his children, but he was recording their cry and playing it on his phone? This one, it don't pass just kineo. This is, okay, let me not give him diagnosis. But like, this is pure evil. Because it means he must derive joy from it for him to record it for later. Can you imagine that? Then goes on to say, humiliating her, talking about the wife this time, and said, humiliating her and making utterances like you are smelling, you are mad to her in the presence of her music crew members. You know, like I said, I just wanted to read some of these aspects of this thing. And up to now, like I said, you know, the Nigerian way of doing things, we don't know if we'll ever get to know what the result of the autopsy is, what the report exactly is. They haven't published it. So we don't know what the autopsy says, because people have been asking me, Summer, what does the autopsy say? What does it say? What does it say? It hasn't said it. So basically what this news is that the federal government has taken up the case. So it is now the state versus Peter Nwachukwu. Do you even know that his family said that Nwachukwu is not his... I think I read it somewhere, that Nwachukwu is not even their real last name. He adopted that name and decided to be answering that. But unfortunately, even that's why you see, Orukorere is one thing. But even though he went to choose Orukorere, Yoruba means Orukorere, it's supposed to be good name, right? Basically, it's like good name, you know. But it didn't wipe away the evil that he was. You know, it didn't wipe away the evil. Nwachukwu means child of God. That's the name he chose. But from his actions, we don't see the child of God. What we see, the child of Satan, child of the devil. Because the evil that we are hearing about this man. Anyways, I won't go into all of that. So basically, that's what the news says. And I'm hoping that hope, oh, because you see Nigeria, I'm hoping that some of the men that do these things, that think that they are untouchable. Did you not see the day they brought him to court? How humble he looked. He did not look that in person that can actually hurt a fly. He shows you how powerless he is in the eyes of the world. He was only powerful to a woman that did not resist. You see, let me tell you guys, I've said it before, I do not believe that if Osinachi was the kind of person that put her foot down, I don't know why I don't think he would have continued. And you know when they say, oh, no matter how bad a husband is, if a woman is submissive, it will change the man. Where are those people that are saying those kind of things? No matter what, it will change that man. It is that your submissiveness. How will a man hit a woman if she's submissive? If a woman is submissive, her husband will. It is very interesting now how those people that make those kind of comments, right now, we've not heard from them since this has happened. When they come and quote to you how the man is the head, the man is the head. It's funny how they avoid speaking about the fact that Jesus is the head, right? And the church is the bride. Yet Jesus loved the world so much that he came and died. That is how much love Jesus has for the bride, the church. Some men will be claiming head, but not willing to do what Jesus did to the extent of laying his life down for the bride, for his bride, the church. They don't go that way. They talk. Some of them don't ever talk reach that side. You see that, let me tell you, I don't know why, but I believe that if Osinachi was the kind of woman that would say to her, don't do that, don't hit me. I don't know. You know some men, they pick their victims. This guy saw Osinachi with her sister. They came to sing in Abuja from Enugu. He picked Osinachi because among them, according to the twin sister, Osinachi is the quiet one. She is the one that is a bit more whatever. Osinachi is the quiet one. The man, I believe, he picked his victim carefully because he knew Osinachi and his sister look similar. Forget about what life now did to them and they have a bit of maybe differences of body stature. Osinachi now looked older than her twin sister and all of that. But if you look, they look similar. They sing beautifully. Like I listened to one song they sang together. And when the sister was singing, I was kind of, oh, that's actually not Osinachi. Very similar singing style and everything. But he picked the quiet one because he wanted somebody he could put under his foot. I believe that if Osinachi was not that kind of, you know, when I said that kind of submissive, because there are different types. There's some submissiveness that is basically slavery. I believe that if Osinachi was not that type, the man would, because let me tell you, from what we've heard so far, it's not like when he hit her, from what we heard so far, it's not like when he hit her, she hits back. No, she doesn't hit back. So it was not a fight between a couple. No, it was him that always doing it. And even though she doesn't fight back, he kept on doing it. Let's also be speaking about this so-called submissiveness and refuse to be part of those that will preach this message that will make a woman be willing to submit even to the point of submitting her life. Anyways, I just wanted to quickly share this update. And at the end of the day, the man that was powerful and all of those things, from what he says, they're going to take him to court. And if he's found guilty, federal government will sue you, they're not going to find you guilty. I don't know, won't tell me because I don't know. They found him guilty. He has to go, his own life has to end. The question then is, was it worth it? Was it worth it? The children now have no mother and their father is about to be, if he's found guilty. I mean, let me keep saying if. Is about his own life is about to end as well. So there's no winner in this situation. There is no winner. At the moment, we cannot speak to Osinachi, she's gone. But we are speaking to the other Osinachis that are still around for them to use this to weigh and decide, to weigh their lives and decide how they want their lives to go. At the same time, to speak to other Peters that are the other Peters out there. What's it called now? If you're doing it now, think twice about what you're doing because you may be next. You may be powerful in the comfort of your own home, but maybe one day it is you that's going to come out like this and the government will stomp on you like you have been stomping on your wife at home. Anyways, that's the update about that, and this is my opinion about it. As always, whatever your opinions are, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.